Reggie Jackson, obviously Mr. October, joining us on the program. Reg wanted to wait until the president was done speaking. We appreciate you joining us, Reggie. How are you today?
Very good, personally, but physically and family. But sure, disappointed and saddened and confused as to what's going on with our country socially. I sure don't see us growing in a positive way. I see these horror stories that continue to haunt us, everybody. So unexpected, so random, no understanding, no preparation, no reason, no rhyme. And everyone has a guess, of what goes on. I don't know. So I'm down today because of what happened in Boston. That's just such a wonderful thing that goes on there with people just kind of enjoying being a Bostonian and being a person that is able to enjoy 3 or 4 different sports, if you will, that they have during the day. I mean, they could have it all: basketball, baseball, hockey, the marathon. And then we have something like this happen. So it throws you back. I'm 66 years old, and you want to see improvement. You want to see support. You want to see social interaction. You want to see inclusion. You want to see people supporting each other and the world continuing to grow. Such a wonderful time for the Jackie Robinson story to come out as it continues to promote inclusion and then educates and reminds people of what it really was like. I have a daughter that's 22 years old, and, our children and kids that come up to me. I have it happen so often, almost daily. Some 7 or 8 year or 10-year-old will come up to me and want an autograph or a picture because their parents are passing on the great game of baseball. And so you're conscientious about just, making everybody feel good and being respectful. And as the world continues to get better, here I am, a black man and part Latin, if you will. And young kids, white kids, black kids admire me as a baseball player. And so I see social growth. I certainly would like to see more when it comes to our government leading the path of being inclusive with all of our different levels of living and different levels of sociology, from poverty to, middle class right up through wealth. Wealth doesn't need as much concern, but certainly the people that, are doing our daily work and doing our daily chores and participating in the mass, the majority, which is, they call us this upper 1%. Well, forget those. Let's be concerned about being inclusive with all the other people and education, include, and have people participating. So as much as I'm grateful for the country, I'm disappointed today, as so many people I'm sure are, Dan. And, with that expression, I'll thank you for letting me have it and just let you respond from there.
How concerned, were you ever concerned safety-wise at a sporting event as a player?
I had threats in the 73 and 74 World Series and had FBI staying right outside my house and going back and forth to the ballpark with me. But we didn't have very much of that went on back in the 70s. You'd get a letter, a crazy letter, and they, I had a couple letters 2 years in a row. That they were going to shoot me during the game, et cetera. I was 26, 27, 8 years old, didn't really understand, didn't really grasp it. Nothing had happened like that in the country that you could relate to. 4 or 5 years earlier, in 1968, was Martin Luther King. A few years before that, 63, was Jack Kennedy, and then John Kennedy was, I want to say 65 or something like that. But in that era, I remember all that stuff. But it didn't hit home for me. I didn't take it as seriously. And the FBI were big baseball fans, and so I just went back and forth to the ballpark with them every day.
You rode with the FBI?
No, they just drove with me, just drove behind me, and walked me in the ballpark, went into the game, and there were two guys that I got to know very well for many, many years. I don't know if they're still alive, but I just saw one of the guys who lives in Vegas just probably 5-6 years ago, and heck, the World Series for me, 77 World Series is 30-some years ago, so I still know those guys, but. During with the Yankees, I did run into a couple of FBI that would contact you and say, "Hey, we've heard this, Reggie, so we're going to be around." But, I took it, I listened to it, may have been a copy of a letter, teams get notified, but I just didn't really take it that seriously to worry, if you will. And I really never have been one to worry about things I can't control.
You're auctioning off the jersey you wore Game 6, 1977 World Series against the Dodgers when you hit 3 home runs.
Yeah.
Where have you kept that jersey?
I've had it at my home in a closet. Never really had it in a display. I have my phone 500 home run jersey on display, and over the years, at the end of the year, they would give you. Pete Sheehy, the old great clubhouse man that had Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio and Mickey in his clubhouse and Yogi and Whitey. They would pack my bags and put my uniforms in there, and you take them home every year. And so I just put them away, if you will, and never really did display very much. I have a very dear friend that is a huge baseball hobbyist that we've been friends for about 27, 30 years. And he's always, talked about the hobby and collectibles and stuff. And when years would go by, and finally about 10 or 15 years ago, I brought out, 10 World Championship rings, 14 or 15 All-Star Game rings, and all these things that I've won, Silver Sluggers and MVP awards and my first MVP award, or my second MVP, and first MVP award I gave to my sister. I gave her the car. And the second MVP award was just a small little square piece of glass, and I gave it to George Steinbrenner. It sits in the Yankee offices today in his office.
What do you think?
I gave it away.
What do you think that jersey is worth?
Well, I've heard upwards of more than $1 million. I know the Ruth jersey is sold for 4.2 or something like that, with a 10 or 15% buy fee. And so the trade was somewhere between 4.5 and 4.7.
Wow.
They don't know the gentleman that bought it, but I was half hit the player he was. I was at least half the player he was.
So you're going to get at least $1 million. The auction site is scpauctions.com.
Yes,
right?
They're located in Southern California. Sam Charlie Paul, SCP auctions. Do the high-end stuff, and they've been doing it for quite some time. They're extremely well-respected, and so many of the great collectors around the globe to connect with them. They have them as customers. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to have you back sometime where we can just talk baseball, if that's okay.
Not a problem. This jersey will help some family members and my charity.
Okay. It's scpauctions.com for more information. Good luck with that auction, Reg, and we'll have you back on soon. I want to talk some baseball with you.
Thanks, Dan. Have a great day. And tell Todd and the crew, watch them once in a while, and tell some of those guys to make a free throw besides you.
Thank you, Reg. There you go. Reggie just said, get your act together over there. Reggie Jackson.